Routines set you free. But which routines? What are the routines that can have a big impact not only in your business life but also in your personal life? That's what I'm going to be covering in this video. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the YouTube channel to get new videos every week. So let's talk about routines. There's a saying that routines shall set you free. And I mean, it's spot on, but but which ones? What kind of routines should we be thinking about? And in my opinion, personally, my preference is that, just forget these 5 a.m. mornings, minute-to-minute schedules, productivity planners, latest productivity hacks. There's new stuff coming every single month. Whenever you log into social media, I'm sure that once in a while, your news feed is filled with whatever the latest fad, latest trend is. And sure, those are useful and can be really, really good. But at the same time, it's pretty pointless without consistency. And at least me personally, I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. every single morning. Because typically, if I don't take any naps during the day, and if I want to take 8 hours of sleep, then damn, I need to go to bed at 9 p.m. or something like this. And I definitely don't want to go sleep at 9 p.m. So point really is consistency. And my personal opinion is that, isn't it much better to have something that actually works in any environment? So you do not need to rely on any sort of productivity hacks or these kind of things. As long as I would rather build something that is this solid foundation so that the actual environment doesn't really matter that much anymore. And this is saying by Peter Drucker that, there is nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all. That's spot on, and that's why we need to consider different things. It's not enough to be efficient if you're not really doing the right things. So first area is actually effectiveness, not just being efficient, but effective, meaning that you're doing the right things. Then efficiency, that's really, really important. But what's more important is that we are effective. Then I would also argue that building these routines for delegation, that's really crucial. And it doesn't matter how many people you have. As long as you have one person, or as long as you have some other person, like business partner, then you need to already start establishing these different things, routines for delegation. So this is basically the 3 areas that I'm going to be focusing on this presentation. So effectiveness. What does it mean being effective? Effectiveness means by the dictionary that it's the capability of producing a desired result. So the key question is that, okay, fine, we are being really productive and efficient, but are we really doing the right things? So that's something that we constantly need to ask ourselves as we work on our business. And good routine for that is this weekly prioritization. And doing the right thing also means that you're going to be saying no to most of the things, at least 99% of things. You just need to say no at this point at least. So the key question really is that, okay, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? So let's say that next week I can only do one thing. So what could that one thing be? And it cannot be just, or it doesn't make sense if it's just a really small thing that takes me 5 minutes to do it. And it doesn't really make sense either if I just combine like different like 5-minute tasks into one bigger project. What it really means that it should be something that is really moves the needle and really creates a big impact if I do it right. So I would also argue that, weekly prioritization is not enough. So that's why I also suggest doing this daily prioritization. And this is what things I'm talking about here. These are not like heavyweight processes at all. This is definitely not a heavyweight framework, because we are basically just asking ourselves like one question, like, okay, are we doing the right thing? So if I can do one thing tomorrow, then what would it be? So daily prioritization means that, let's say that every evening in bed, I just choose one thing to do tomorrow. Then come up with questions to ask myself. And then it must be the last thing you do and think about before falling asleep. And because let's say that you spend some time thinking about this and then you watch TV or do something else, then you're going to be like missing out. And for example, one of my bed routines is that, okay, I usually like read some book before I go to sleep. But the point is to do this afterwards. Like it should be really the last thing to do before you go asleep, because if you do this, then you're going to be like utilizing, your mind is going to be thinking about these different things while you sleep. So this means that next time there's a big chances that you're going to be having different answers. But for that, we need to have the topic and we need to have questions. So let's say that I'm thinking that, okay, tomorrow I need to find one product opportunity, and not just any kind of product opportunity, but really, really, really good one. So, that's something that I need to get done tomorrow. Okay, we need to find a product opportunity. Fine. Then what are some good questions that we need answers to? Maybe something that, okay, what could be the niche that I could start searching tomorrow? Like, what are the different areas? Like, what are different, maybe I'm interested in sports. Maybe I could, what are the different things that I should be focusing on tomorrow? And what kind of product, what kind of category, what kind of subcategory? Is it a product for women, for men, or those kind of things? Like any kind of questions that will, like as soon as you solve them, like as soon as you have the answer, they basically take you forward. And Albert Einstein said this, and he said that if I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on it, I would use the first 55 minutes determining the proper questions to ask. Just think about it. He would spend like 55 minutes thinking about the questions and then 5 minutes actually solving the problem. And this is really important. That it's not so much about the answers we get. It's much more important are the actual questions. This means that we basically need to spend time in figuring out, okay, what are the different questions we need to ask in order to solve this situation, or to create the outcome that we actually desire. And like as soon as you have people working for you, then key thing is that, I mean, it is absolutely essential to teach your team how to do planning and come up with useful goals. And I've seen it so many times, and I've been also guilty of that myself. That I mean, I've been just doing these kind of goals that don't really make that much sense. And I mean, if you're doing weekly planning and you don't have goals that really make sense, then I mean, it's pretty pointless. I mean, sure, it's a useful thing to do, but I mean, it's pretty much it will not reap the best possible benefits. So different kinds of things, routines in terms of effectiveness is really this, I mean, weekly planning and review. So review just means that you look at the goals that you set last week. Then planning just means that you're going to be setting goals for next week. And thing is that it's not so much about the plan itself, because I mean, life happens, life tends to change. So we shouldn't come up with plans that are cast in stone. No, I mean, then it's much more important is the actual planning process, and that we spend time on doing this plan instead of the plan itself. Then, I mean, this retrospective, I can't really emphasize the importance of this retrospective, because besides on focusing on also the different topics, it also like helps you to improve your communication with your team, and you get to understand more from things more from their perspective. So it really has like a lot of benefits besides just the actual questions. And basically the questions are that, okay, I mean, what didn't go so well, what went well, what are things to improve next week, and then what are the different puzzles, and then also this question of one, like what is the one thing that I should do next week that would basically have a big impact. Then this brainstorming session, like I see so many people complaining, and like business owners or managers or whoever. I mean, I have seen it in the corporate world, and I like previously, and now I'm seeing it in the entrepreneurial world, that people just complain so much that their teams, their employees, or their partners, or whoever are not creative, that they are not innovative. And usually, like, if I ask, okay, fine, then if you think like this, then what are you doing in order to like create, like build more creativity, build more innovation in your business? And usually the answer is crickets, silence. So they expect creativity, they expect this innovation, but they are doing nothing to actually nurture it and foster it. And so one really good way is to, if you want to get people more creative, then I mean, just do more brainstorming sessions with them. And like I have done this for years with different teams, like every single week. And typically it's not a long session. It's like 45 minutes, and we just choose the topic, and then everyone pitches in on different ideas, different things. What can we do about this specific topic? I mean, that's it. It's so simple, but I can tell you that it's really effective. And if you think that your team doesn't have any ideas, then I mean, start doing this weekly brainstorming session, and basically you will see the change already in weeks or months. Then, I mean, daily huddle. Well, that's not really, I mean, that's pretty much the daily synchronization with your business partner, with your team, and so on. So, I mean, that's really the thing that will help you get the accountability and those things. So I would say, like, these four things, this is pretty much the skeleton. This is the structure And if you just implement this structure, then I mean, you can add so many different things to this, and it will have a big, it will really have a big impact. And I can tell you that I have, like, also previously in the corporate world, I used to go to like into different teams, departments, and so on. Like, and the situation in many cases was that I mean the departmental heads, the bosses, I mean, they were not happy because they didn't understand what's going on, what was going on with their team or department. And the first thing I always did was that I implemented this structure so that I could get a grip of what's going on in those teams and departments. And yeah, Jani was asking, like, do you have some agenda for brainstorming? Yes, we have this backlog of topic ideas for the brainstorming session. So it just means that we have it like in a certain time every week. And so we start the meeting and check up the like topic ideas that we have, and then we just start talking about the topic. And there's many ways how to do brainstorming sessions, and there's so many different things, like different kind of frameworks and those kind of things to do. But I mean, I would just encourage you that just, I mean, doing it more frequently, it's much better than doing this really heavyweight process. So, I mean, just start doing it every week, and then you can start adding new things, how to make it better, like every week. So, yeah, so I mean, we have established that we need to be doing the right things. But okay, fine, we are doing the right things. We have established our priorities. So how can we then be efficient? Meaning that we have the ability to produce something without really wasting any kind of resources. So efficiency. I mean, this is kind of self-evident, obvious thing, like take immediate action. Like whatever you do, just put things in motion immediately. This means that you are, like, I'm not the one holding ball on this. Meaning that if we are discussing some topic like, hey, maybe we should do this project or that thing, then okay, I mean, it's not going to be like waiting on my decision. I'm just going to put it forward immediately. Like, let's say that I have a few, like, okay, I have 5 different product ideas. Okay, which ones we should move forward with it? Okay, I mean, okay, fine. Looks like we are missing some information. Like, okay, let's immediately send those emails to get the different codes for shipping or for the prices and so on. So I mean, never let you. I mean, it shouldn't be you who's everyone waiting for. Like, ideally, you should always like put things forward and put the pressure on other people. So things are not dependent on you, but the other way around. And I mean, task list, it pretty much goes without saying. It doesn't really matter like what kind of task lead, what kind of you think you have. But I mean, besides the weekly planning and those kind of things, then I mean, usually new things pop up all the time. Like you have some idea that, oh yeah, I mean, I should do this and I should do that. So I mean, there needs to be some place where I can add ideas. So there's many different tools. So let's not talk about the tools, but the point is that there is some place where we can gather ideas that are popping up. And getting things done framework or method, like, I don't know, I don't like all of the things that are part of this getting things done framework. For example, I don't like especially in this like internet age, like and cloud services age, I don't like this way of like how you should, for example, categorize every folder alphabetically and that kind of stuff. Because, for example, if you think about like Google's motto, I mean, their motto has always been like search, don't sort, meaning that you do not categorize things that much. Instead, you just have this naming format so you can always be able to find different files. But anyway, like the things I do like about it is getting things done method is that, first of all, this 2-minute rule. It means that if it takes you less than 2 minutes to do something, then do it immediately. Do not wait. Just get it done immediately. And then focusing on next single action. So yeah, I mean, okay, maybe I need to go to the dentist. So I'm in a new place. I have no idea like where's the dentist, but I just want to do a basic thing like clean up or whatever. So, okay, what's the next single action there? Well, I mean, if I don't know a dentist, then I need to look it up, right? So just focusing on the next single action will help my basically mind process these things and take faster action. And one point in getting things done method is that you don't use your mind for storing things. One thing I definitely like is this kind of like inbox thing, where inbox is just stuff like where you throw your ideas, and then like in certain frequency you go through your inbox and then just categorize those that are you going to do it like this week, today, or maybe someday later. So who has used GTD? Didn't Osku, didn't you go through this whole course with them or something like this?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That is true. I had this. I read the book and had a coaching with a GTD Nordic.fi, and also I visited Amsterdam. There they had this GTD Summit seminar 2 days 2 years ago.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
That was kind of a brainstorming session for 2 days, so very nice. But it wasn't a coaching session. It was lots of different speakers and few names over there. I'm sure you will know like 5 at least. I didn't at the time, but.
So yeah. Did you? So are you actively using it?
Yes. Every day, like very much. It's transforming my systematic thinking or systematic routines, I would say. I'm getting to adapt that or absorb so much that it's a way of thinking. Basically, you have this system and like that inbox thing is a very good start. Just write. When you are doing something and you have this idea, that one, just write it on the one single paper and put it into the inbox. And of course, you have to process that inbox too.
Yeah. That's what usually happens. You don't process the inbox, so
your inbox is so much papers and stuff that I don't want to take that now. But it's a nice system and it modifies my home office as well. Lots of standardized places for very different things. So this is like warehouse kind of.
Cool. So you got a lot of benefit from the coaching that you got.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, so I've read the book and watched some mini course about it. But yeah, I mean, if you don't do anything, and then do at least these 3 things, so it will definitely have like a big impact. Just the 2-minute rule, next single action, and then the inbox where you just constantly like empty your mind, so you don't need to waste your time. And I liked what David Allen, the author, said. If you think about, if you have the same thought for like 2 times, like twice, then I mean it's already 1 time too much. Meaning that you should put it out to this inbox. You should write it down, so you don't have this repetition. And then I mean, let's talk about this delegation. So Rockefeller said that, I mean, I would rather earn 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts. So delegation, and that means that you're basically leveraging other people's time. So I mean, time is the absolute most valuable thing we have. So we should definitely not waste our time. So that's why we should really hold our own personal time really precious and don't like waste it. So that's why it's like much better to like use other people's time. And that means that, I mean, I think it's just mandatory to have different VAs to doing different things. And what I usually way is like I use my VAs, delegatees, to basically always do the first initial draft for everything. So I mean, they write emails on my behalf. So, and this also applies to different kind of sales pages, presentations, product listings. So whatever you are considering doing, I mean, just let them do the first initial draft, because that's usually the biggest thing. I mean, it's usually the most effort, I mean, at least mentally, to get the first initial draft working. And then once you have that, then you can basically start pitching ideas. And same thing like applies, like I have my VAs go through, handle my emails, my messengers, and those kind of things. Because when I receive so much stuff, I just I don't want to be bothered with, like hold my time, personal time is really valuable. So I want to use other people's time to leverage. And then, I mean, when you have people working with you, then, I mean, just educate them to constantly present you material. And it doesn't matter what it is. Like, let's say that you're asking them to do some research, like just do some research on some niche category product or whatever. Then point is that you ask them to present it to you, because basically the better your team is able to present you, I mean, that will also like give this really important skill in your company. Then one key thing about this delegation is that, well, one way is like having this follow-up list. So the way Victor has always worked is that he, for example, on his task board, he has one column for like following up with people. So whenever he asks a task for someone, I mean, he basically asks some item on this follow-up list as well. So, I mean, that's one way to do it, but like my preferred way is that I give the delegatee the responsibility follow up with me, meaning that I'm going to be delegating something to you, and then I expect that you are going to be following up with me, like maybe next week or whatever the date is. Then it means you have the responsibility to show me what you have made so far. So that's because I'm always thinking that I don't want any kind of additional responsibility on me. I mean, I want to have my table as clean as possible. And when there's all the time like popping up new things, then I want that my team basically like my people basically take the time for take the responsibility as well. Jan is asking, do you have some good book for delegation? Well, I mean, I would say that the most important thing we have for delegation is this delegation SOP. So we have a process how we delegate to our staff, and also like how to receive delegation. So this basically comes back down to the company culture, is that, okay, what kind of what are the how are you expecting people to behave in your company? So one crucial way or crucial point is really this receiving delegation. And when we are working remotely, we are not working in office. We are not really having this, basically we don't have as much interaction with people as we would have like if we would work in an office. So this means that we need to put a lot more effort into these different kind of behavioral rules, especially for delegation, because I mean, typically it's not only from you to the team or from, let's say, team lead to different members. I mean, it's going to be working in all sorts of directions. So for example, one team member is talking with another team member and asked to do something. And what happens then if some person is asking some person to do something? Like those are the things that you basically need to write down and give this, set this expectation that how should you receive delegation, like what is expected from you. And yeah, I mean, it has said before, and I completely agree that if you're not able to delegate, then you simply cannot be a leader or a manager. So that's why delegation really has, I mean, this delegation is such a crucial thing when it comes to routines. Okay, but anyway, so here's a question for everyone. So what is the one thing you will do before our next call? Would anyone like to share with us, like, okay, what is the one thing that you will commit to doing before our next call? And if you only have one thing, okay, it better be pretty good, because it's only one thing. So you cannot have 2 or even 3 or whatever. If you can only have one thing, then what should it be? That's a question you should be basically ask yourself and your team every single week. But now it's a question to you. So what are you going to personally be doing before next week?
Planning.
Sorry?
Planning. Good planning.
Planning. Yes, absolutely. That's basically.
That's a nice question to me. I was wondering, like 1 or 2 weeks now, that how do you do planning? What are the actions? Is it really doing anything? Kind of. When you do something, do you consider that planning is doing, or where does it locate in?
Well, what I mean with the weekly plan is that it means that you sit down with your partner, team, or who are the people involved. You sit down together and you start writing the things that, okay, these are different things that we are going to be doing next week, and focus on the end result and focus on creating smart goals, because it's so easy to create these nonsense goals that, yeah, I'm going to send like 5 emails next week. So, and it should really be something that is, first of all, like doable within 1 week, within that given time period, because it's really typical that let's say that you create some kind of goal for yourself that, okay, I'm going to find 5 product ideas next week, and then, okay, deadline came, but I only found like 2. Okay, I'm just going to be extending and extending and extending, like postponing it. So it should be really something that first of all you can do within a week, and then also something that it is like big enough in order to make sense. But one thing, like how we work is that, well, I don't really have that many like recurring actions, but I mean our team members always have. So they always have this area that, okay, next week these are my recurring things, and usually it's some ongoing projects that they have to do like every week. So it doesn't really have an end date. So they have like growth tasks, growth goals, and then additionally these recurring things that they do every week. But everything basically needs to be written down so it's not forgotten. Makes sense?
Definitely makes sense.
For sure.
Cool. So any other ideas? What will be the one thing that you will do before the next time we have a call?
I have one idea. It funnily opened up this week that I came into a situation that I realized that, okay, we have this one kind of business culture in our company. We're kind of like leaving it in the top of the company, and we need to get it through to the whole organization. And it starts with a personal plan. So I booked a time for each team member. First is tomorrow, and next week there is a couple of those in which we will go through a personal plan for each person. So I will just help them to create their own personal plan. And then we can start working on with more goals. So instead of just putting yourself in order, it's good to put everybody in balance and have their own goals. But this is my next week's most important task.
Yeah, so I mean, we have also used this like personal planning with all our staff. So they have also like created their like personal plan stuff, meaning that it has things that are not only involving their like job, but basically things in their personal life. So I mean, the better you can educate your people, I mean, the better results you are also going to be having. And I mean, typically people do love this because it also kind of shows that you actually care. You care about them, not only about the output of their work, but also as human beings. And human beings want to work with other human beings, so that's why it's such a big deal in order to create like good company culture and all that stuff. So it will definitely like pay off.
Yes, and my way of doing is it's quite personal also, because I share mine, so we can kind of like compare and have a perspective.
Yeah, definitely. Sharing is really important. And I can tell you, like especially like culture like Philippines. I mean, in that culture, like family is really, really important. And like if you're sharing openly stuff about your own life or your own family, so that they will like you so much better. So it will immediately like boost this loyalty and create a better team spirit and just better atmosphere. So and happy people work harder. So if you are just thinking about, okay, what's the benefit for that is that then, I mean, besides like creating happy people, you will definitely see it at the at the end of the line, like in the profit and loss statement, for sure.
So what do you think? Agree, disagree? If you like this video, then hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to get new videos every week. If you want my help in building your business, then just book a call with me and let's talk. See you soon.